Welcome back to Press Play Action here. It's Mitchell Lee, it's Tommy Grant, it's Brandon too. And guys, Mission Impossible, we're back at it again for the third and not final time. We're going to talk about Rogue Nation and we're going to talk about Fallout. Guys, let's go ahead and just jump right into it the way that Tom Cruise would jump off of a building, airplane, cliff, aircraft carrier, whatever the case may be. He just loves jumping off shit. So let's do that exactly. Well, we haven't seen that, but you know,
we might.
That might be in the next one. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past him. All right, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
We have to give some praise to director Christopher McQuarrie.
Damn it, Tommy! I was just about to get to that.
I knew you were, because you got to shout out. He's a fellow Jersey boy from Princeton, New Jersey. He grew up right down the street from us.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's a frequent collaborator with Tom Cruise. He did Jack Reacher, Mission Impossibles. He did the Fallout movie, Dead Reckoning, Ghost Protocol. But then he's also
basically done every Mission Impossible movie. Yeah,
pretty much from here. This is the start of the Christopher McQuarrie films, and I think it shows that he's phenomenal and well fit for this series. But he also wrote and produced with the Valkyrie movie, Edge of Tomorrow, The Mummy, which obviously was a big flop, but also Top Gun Maverick, which was a huge win. So he's well known for working with Tom Cruise, and it definitely shows that they've had some good connections.
I was a little, well, when I heard that he was going to be directing this, I'm like, the guy that did Jack Reacher. Oh, okay. I guess the Mission Impossible movies are going to be bad now.
They just messed up Jack Reacher, for being honest.
And the Jack Reacher sequel was even worse.
There's a good story there. There's a good story there, and Tom Cruise could have been a good candidate.
He stumbled with Jack Reacher so he could fly with Mission Impossible.
Right.
That's all that happened.
Sure. Why not?
He stumbled into the airplane to fly the plane.
So this one stars Tom Cruise. The Tom Cruise, I'm going to put Jeremy Renner in quotation marks. We'll get back to that. Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Ving Rhames, Sean Harris, and Alec Baldwin. $150 million budget. This made $682 million, so a big success. Released July 31st of 2015, and you know you're going to get some box office questions. So this was the 11th highest grossing movie of 2015 and the second highest grossing movie of July 2015. What was the highest grossing movie of July 2015? Think back to it. It was nearly 10 years ago.
Man, we wouldn't have been going to movies yet.
Not yet.
Spectre, James Bond?
No.
Was it?
I want to say the Hunger Games movie came out in the summer, but that's not correct.
That came out in November. Both of the movies you mentioned came out in November.
Okay. It wasn't Fantastic Four, because that also...
No, that came out the week after and bombed.
God, that was a bad movie.
It was awful.
Man from U.N.C.L.E.? That came out that year.
Yeah.
No, that came out a week or two later.
Avengers
and that
Ultron.
also...
Is that a summer one?
No, that came out in May.
God damn it.
This is tough.
The Martian?
No, that came out in October.
Man, I really wish it was The Hateful Eight, because I think that movie slept on.
No, that movie actually didn't do very well.
Do you have all these memorized that I can just start spitting out movies you know what month they came out?
Yeah. It's like
Creed.
Did Creed come out? Yeah. It's like...
No.
Fuck.
That was November. You each get one more guess.
Was it the Bond movie?
I already guessed
the one that Tommy already mentioned? No,
Sorry,
and you're done. Tommy, last guess. You're right, you weren't listening.
Yeah. Tough.
I'm just trying to think of what would be a summer movie.
If it was Mad Max, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh.
No, and you're done guessing.
Okay, I'll stop.
You just keep being wrong.
I mean, I'm naming good movies from 2015 without Google.
It's not about quality. It's about how much money did you make, Tommy.
Was it Mad Max Fury Road?
No, when he just said that. Okay, yeah, you guys are done.
I wasn't paying attention to anything he was saying because he wasn't listening.
Yeah, same. I wasn't. Yeah, we were both not listening to each other. Yeah.
Wow.
What was it?
I already said it. You're not listening to me either.
No, I'm looking at the movies that came out in 2015 trying to guess.
Yeah.
Minions.
Yeah. Oh, come on. That doesn't count.
Yeah. What do you mean that doesn't count? It was a movie. It came out in July of 2015.
I'd rather The Revenant have fucking won it.
Yeah, me too. Everything's better than Minions, but no, Minions was the best or the highest grossing.
I will say these questions now get my brain like operating where I'm gonna start thinking about movies and like movie years and be like, oh, The Revenant and Minions came out in the same movie year. Like,
there you go. Yeah, you should be prepared for this kind of thing. But this is obviously the follow up to Ghost Protocol, and this is about Ethan Hunt. He's tracking down the syndicate. Meanwhile, Jeremy Renner's in a courtroom with Alec Baldwin, and the IMF may or may not be getting just completely, disavowed for good.
With the best due process line of all time. I cannot neither deny nor confirm without the consent of the secretary's approval.
Yeah.
He just says that over and over again.
Jeremy Renner is good in this movie, but my God, do they just go, yeah, so take a back seat, please.
I mean, why?
No one likes the Bourne Legacy. Just sit down.
Yeah, why use him if you're not going to use him? You know what I mean? It's just.
So I'm curious. Was there any Marvel movies or other movies that he was in that came out this time that he might have been?
He was definitely Hawkeye. Yeah, he was definitely Hawkeye by that point. But yeah.
But my only guess is maybe he was held back for other reasons and not them not wanting.
Well, we'll get into this with Fallout. There's a quote out there as to why.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. We'll get with it. I mean, do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to talk about it with Fallout? Because apparently there's a specific reason why they
were going to kill him off at the beginning of Fallout, and he was just like, "No, I'm good. Just write me out the story."
And apparently they didn't use him in Rogue Nation because like a lot of it was like he just got back, like he's just not as involved as he would be.
Certainly not in the action scenes.
Yeah, and I think that's on purpose. Like they want to make Benji more, I guess, usable in the action scenes, which makes sense. And I like Benji, I like his character, but I mean, if you have Jeremy Renner, like we've talked about this before, Jeremy Renner, maybe not the best lead. He can definitely carry an action movie as a lead, but one of the best role players in all of film industry. Like if you put him on screen with a good actor like Tom Cruise, movie magic can be made. And I just think they underutilized him.
I think that this movie, because I do like this movie, I do think this is a good movie, and this movie definitely didn't get as high, like at least from what I remember when people were talking about it when it came out. It was like just a notch below where Ghost Protocol was coming in critically. People were still having a really good time with it and definitely highly recommending it as one of the best movies of that summer, which it was. Also kind of disappointing summer in a lot of regards. But I think that this movie definitely misses a Jeremy Renner style presence in the movie because they basically replace him with Rebecca Ferguson's character. And Rebecca Ferguson is great in this movie. I think she is legitimately fantastic. But this movie does kind of feel a little bit more like not necessarily the way that the second movie did, because the second movie was the Tom Cruise show through and through.
Featuring
other people. It wasn't quite like that, but the fourth movie was a lot more team-centric. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that, and we'll get into other movies in the future where it's even more team-centric, and I think that really helps things. This one is a lot more of like Tom Cruise doing these awesome, incredible things, and then some side characters taking care of some stuff as well. And it's cool. Like the opening scene with the plane, I kind of think this movie peaks a little early, for me at least, because out of all of the scenes... It's a perfect way to start the movie, but out of all of the stunts, that's the one that I've watched and gone, nope, yeah, I can't. No, can't possibly imagine doing it, trying it, anything like that. And he did it like 8 times.
Well, my thing is, he did it, right? Like
he did this. He did that, and he did it like 8 times.
That's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. Yeah,
because they all were like, "Yep, all right, Tom, you got it," and he's like, I think."
He's like, I think my hand slipped a little.
I think that I kind of want to put my feet in a different spot this next time, and I think I like to say my line a little bit differently, and it's like, buddy, sure, why not?
Other door.
Yeah,
right. It's like, what other line could you possibly? Yeah, it's just like, what are we doing here? They do know they can like CGI this, right? Like,
I think Tom Cruise would shoot someone in the head as soon as that was brought up.
He doesn't have to fly on the side of a plane.
No, they don't want you to do this.
How far is the plane going up? Like, is it like legit in the air? Like, that is the other question I was going to have. Is like, obviously he's off the ground, he's on a plane. How high up is the plane like legitimately going? Is it
5,000 feet?
That is, I mean, did he pass out? Like, you can't go that high. Like, they were wearing oxygen masks at 25,000.
Bro, it's Tom Cruise. He's a god.
In Fallout, like what?
They're not exactly going to.
Like, I mean,
they don't ask you to do this stuff.
There's no way he did this. Like, I mean, good for him. But if I read a news story that Tom Cruise died filming a Mission Impossible movie, I'm gonna cry. Like, I'm gonna be upset.
By the way, also, because one of the other big action sequences in this movie is the pool underwater sequence.
Yep. The pool one's good.
He trained with a diving specialist to be able to hold his breath for 3 minutes to perform that underwater sequence, which was filmed in a single long take without any edits, and the stunt coordinator claims that Cruise held his breath for just over 6 minutes.
What has he got, like the Navy SEALs in there fucking training him?
He's got the power of Scientology, Brandon.
That's what he's got, the Scientology gods on his side. Honestly, this is the reason why I think that The Final Reckoning is the final movie, because I think he finally realizes he's at the age that he's already peaked at his stunts. It's like, if he tries to one-up it one more time, he's at the age.
They're showing it in the trailer, and I'm like, oh, so he's like jumping off a motorcycle now. Like it's like, like he's going to injure himself at some point doing these stuff.
He injured himself in the next movie. We'll talk about that. No,
he did. Yeah, that's a fair point. But Tommy, the ultimate thing is like, man, we've gotten so good with just technology that we don't have to go 5,000 feet in the air on a plane. Like, we don't have to do this anymore.
Right. Put this in perspective. He is 62 years old right now.
God.
That is insane. So when this movie came out, he was in
maybe Scientology's a good thing.
No, let's not peddle that. I categorically denied that claim on this podcast. I just want that to stand now.
When this movie came out, he was 52 years old. And he's really hanging on to fucking planes going at 5,000.
I mean, he is a very athletic, lean machine. 52 years old, like doesn't look 52.
No, but it's like now he's 60.
He basically tells Leo, "You're such a wuss, Leo, living inside of a dead bear." Going back to the Revenant, Leo's not inside of a dead bear, eating stuff, trying to live. I bet you if Tom Cruise, oh my God, I don't think it's The Final Reckoning, Tommy. I think if the money keeps getting printed, man, I think it's here. Like
we'll get to that.
I think I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I think he wants to do a stunt that is so incredibly insane that it just tops everyone else
just
in the
these
movies.
Alone.
No one will ever do it ever
already.
Again. He wants to do like an Evil Knievel type thing where it's
without even getting to Dead Reckoning or Final Reckoning. He's done the stunts that are fucking insane enough that
that's fair. No, that's a good point.
The Burj Khalifa was nuts.
The only thing I can think of is like an Evil Knievel type thing where like only like actual daredevils and stuntmen would like do this.
It's not even the actors willing to do it. It's even just the fucking stunt crews that are willing to do that. Like there were so many documentaries already out with the Thunderbolts about just Florence Pugh just falling off the building, like a couple stories.
Oh, Tom already did that. He already jumped off the second time.
There's this whole thing of how like, are you sure you want to do this stunt? Like, we could just do something different. Like, have a stunt double do it. Like,
come on,
whole big production over it. But it's like Tom Cruise is here doing all these fucking crazy shit that it's like, I don't think the stunt crews even argue with him at this point. They're just
Florence.
He wants to do
Florence was like, Tom did it. I got to do it now. Like, Tom already did this. I got to go off the side of a building now. Like what do we do? We got to make it real. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Top Gun Maverick, they're in the jets. Like they're
Yeah.
I mean, what can't this guy do? He can fly a helicopter apparently at like high speeds. Like, what can this guy like not do? Maybe you're right, Mitchell. Maybe
with how cinema is going farther and farther away from realistic stunts and more to CGI, I think we've witnessed history in the final era of people willing to do their own stunts and people
willing to do it. I guess is a good point.
No, I think it's kind of come around a little bit in the same way that CGI has come around, where it's like nowadays people are bragging about like, oh, we didn't need CGI to do this. Look at how much CGI we didn't use. And now it's like, well, look at all these people that are doing their own stunts and that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of come back around where you kind of get like almost like street cred for doing this stuff. Does Tom Cruise have a stunt double?
I mean, does he have one?
His name is Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He is his own stunt double.
If you're Jeremy Renner, you're like, oh, this man, like, I'm never gonna top this. Like, this dude is.
How could you?
Yeah.
I think maybe the top action sequence in this movie is the motorcycle chase. In the middle of this movie.
Can we talk about that? Is he on the motorcycle? Is he like?
I would assume so.
His knee is like touching the ground.
Yeah, the way they rode those motorcycles was like, I guess maybe you'd have to do that if you were trying to make turns so quickly.
No, Mitchell. It's like the
You've zero room for error.
It's the professional like riding where you get as like low as possible to like stabilize the gravity. Like you have to get that low to like basically cut like a corner, and like so he's riding like a professional like bike rider, like bike racer, like touching his knee on the ground, like putting his foot on the ground. Like I'm like, is he actually riding a motorcycle at like this high of a speed?
Oh yeah,
and like in traffic, like that's just like, I mean, obviously they're being safe and like no one's actually gonna get hit, but I mean, I guarantee you that he was definitely like, yeah, I'm gonna hit the car at like high speed. Like we're going.
It was directed incredidly well by Christopher McQuarrie. I think that was the big standout scene for
the shots,
McQuarrie,
the editing.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys what you thought about the team about this and how the team was utilized.
I mean,
I think they've definitely found the right fit with Simon Pegg being a full member of this team.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I truly do enjoy Simon Pegg as an actor because he just always brings a good comedic charm wherever he goes. And it definitely fits in this, where you have those moments where Tom Cruise does an insane stunt and Simon Pegg does something very minor and he acts like he just did something amazing. And Tom Cruise,
I do like that.
He always kind of gives him that look like, really? Like, I almost died.
I did not like Simon Pegg in this movie.
Oh, no.
But it had very little to do with Simon Pegg, because I think that early in this movie, he's really good. Because there's a scene with Benji and Ethan Hunt where Benji's just like, dude, you need to stop treating me like I'm some fucking liability. Like, I chose to be here. Like, I make my own choices. I want to help you. I'm here. How can I do this? And I love that Ethan Hunt isn't like, no, fuck you. You do what I tell you. He's just like, no, you're right.
He does tell Benji throughout the series, I won't let anything happen to you.
Yeah.
Something happens to him all the time.
However, this movie, more than any of the others, Benji's a complete fucking liability.
Yeah, well...
Benji's a smart dude in every single other movie except this one. This is the one where Benji's kind of like always... I watched both of these back to back.
It's blending together for me.
It is. It's already blended together.
Is this the one where he's like looking at the pad wrong, or is that's 6? Is that
no?
6?
That's the next. This is the one where he has that bomb strapped to him at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like the second or third time that Benji's like fucked up.
I mean,
like they're all in an airport or like an open area. And they're all looking at each other, and somehow Benji gets taken. Like, how? How did that happen?
Because Benji is not the best street smarts kind of guy. He's the tech guy.
Look, he's the tech guy who was taught.
But he's in the field. He can handle himself.
Sure, but yeah, of course he can. But like, just because you can handle yourself in the field doesn't mean you're the best person in the field.
And he's not good at expecting the unexpected. Like Tom Cruise always kind of has a game plan ready to go. Or good at winging it, whereas he isn't as well fit in that field.
Do we like Lane? Because we've had problems with the villains throughout this series. But I'm here to say I kind of like Solomon Lane.
Tommy, I'll let you start.
I have mixed feelings. I think in terms of the writing, he was a good villain.
Yeah.
But his character just came off more of a creepy basement kind of guy.
I mean, that's kind of what he is.
Like his appearance, the way he talked, it just gave more of like a creeper kind of vibe than like a notorious international villain.
Interesting.
For me, I thought that because we've had some bad ones in this.
No, that's what
series.
I'm saying.
Like
Mission
Impossible 2 was really bad in that regard. Mission Impossible 1 was pretty bad.
Stopped the series.
Mission Impossible
good,
3 was good but underused.
Yep.
Mission Impossible 4 was just really not a focal point of that movie at all.
Yeah, it wasn't.
3 and 4 was like the best villain never used.
Yeah. Basically. Well, I wouldn't even give 4 that credit. Yeah, this one is, I would just say, fine. Not a deterrent from the movie. A little bit better than the fourth one because at the very least it seemed like he was a character. We'll definitely talk about him again in Fallout because I liked him better in that movie. And
I do think he's better in Fallout.
Giving him, I think that just giving him facial hair made him a little bit better for some reason.
It definitely did.
So
I don't know why.
I don't know if you guys got this vibe.
Nation, he gave off Peter Pettigrew vibes from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Peter Pettigrew with a little bit.
The way his facial hair looked, I was like, he just looks kind of weaselly.
My whole thing with Rogue Nation is we are introduced to him kind of, but they've been tracking the Syndicate, but we're actually kind of introduced to his character, and you just like Tommy said, kind of creepy basement vibe. But at the end of the day, this dude is a psychopath, sociopath, all the paths. He doesn't care about
all the
humanity.
Paths.
Yeah, he doesn't care about all the at all about humanity. It's not, and I think we get more of that in Fallout, and I think that's what makes Fallout awesome. Whereas this one, I think we get little bits and pieces of it. So at the end of the day, I think I'm on the positive side of this villain more than the negative. But I definitely see the critiques y'all are talking about, and I definitely get a feeling of it could have been better had it been used a little bit or just been a little bit different. At the end of the day, I think the villain was good though.
He was a good villain. His motives were kind of similar to Thanos, where his concept was destroy humanity to save humanity.
To save it, yeah. I mean, we'll get to that with Fallout, but yeah, that's the idea.
And it definitely kind of carries over throughout the movies. I'm sure it carries over in some way to Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, but it's you have. And I don't think this is even the main villain isn't the main person you have to worry about. It's all the people that you don't know their identities to.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't think for this movie.
Yeah, that's a good point. All the people that you don't know about, you're because it's all a mystery basically.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't think this is a Sean Harris critique because I think he nails it a lot better in the next movie. But his demeanor, you were kind of talking about, Tommy, it comes off weird. But I mean, if you're going to be that level of villain and that level of terrorist, you probably need to be that type of person. So I think Sean Harris he does a decent job. I will say, Mitchell, to circle this all the way back to the team, Rebecca Ferguson is the best team member of this movie, and she might be the best part of, I mean, we'll get to it, but she might be the best part of Fallout too.
I think she's the best team member of the series, and I think that a large part of I think that this movie
whole
towards the end, I really liked her a lot, and
she infiltrated this organization for X amount of years, and has to gain trust, and I mean, she's an interesting character. I think there's a lot of depth to her backstory, and I don't think we get that with a lot of other people in this series. I mean, I could be wrong. You guys can correct me, but I don't feel like there's a lot of depth sometimes. Where with her character, I feel like we're getting some depth, and we're getting okay, this is why she is who she is, basically. I don't know if y'all feel that way.
This was most people's introduction to her as an actress.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I remember a lot of people had no idea who she was. I remembered her from the Hercules movie with The Rock. and she was really good in that movie. In a movie that was
her from.
Yeah, and like that movie isn't good, but I did have a lot of fun with it, and she was excellent in it. And she just continued. I mean, a lot of people saw her in The Greatest Showman when that came out. She was great in Doctor Sleep, and then the Dune movies have just kind of taken her and almost made her like a household name, as she should be, because she's an incredible actress. And in this, she I would say she steals the show, but Tom Cruise kind of makes it impossible for anybody to steal the show
but
in one of
she's
these
second
movies.
best.
That is the true Mission Impossible of these movies. Is the top Tom Cruise.
Like, can you top Tom Cruise? It's very hard to do. Yeah.
I do think that this movie also, the end just kind of gets into, I don't know. It just seems a little bit anticlimactic compared to where we were at the beginning and the middle. And maybe that's just because the action sequences are a little bit more standard at the very end compared to what they were.
As impossible.
Yeah, it feels more like mission regular. Like, tough, but I know that Ethan Hunt's going to find his way out of this, as opposed to some other stuff where it's like, all right, let's see how you get out of this one.
Right, yeah.
I think like that was done purposely because I believe that they had a plan that there was going to be more movies after this and that the whole syndicate concept was going to continue. So I'm sure they didn't have an insane ending because they wanted to kind of just carry over into the next movie.
See,
but they didn't want to give it an open-ended ending, but they didn't want to give it like a kind of a closed and shut.
That's why when you're like grading these individually, you're like, I don't love Rogue Nation, or like, oh, I don't love Mission Impossible 2. But then you get the context of like Fallout, and then you're like, oh shit, like kind of makes sense, kind of connects, like it feels better now.
And I will say,
that's what I was gonna say, Tommy. I do like that we are reviewing them all in like together, because I think we get more of that context than just like individually grading these movies, I guess.
And to
which we are doing, but yeah,
I think we've definitely like obviously we enjoyed these movies much more than the first 3 and kind of 4.
Absolutely.
I think the big reason behind that is Christopher McQuarrie really puts a lot of effort into making sure the characters that are in the movie are characters you actually care about and give context and depth to. Because the first,
which is our biggest complaint from the first 3 or 2 movies, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you have so many characters thrown in that it's like by the next movie, we don't give a shit about them, or they don't even exist. Whereas in these movies, it's like they actually carry over into the next film, and you need to know what their character's about to understand what their character is going through in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was finally the first effort to like, hey, this is a franchise. We need to treat it as a franchise and not just one-off movies with just the same cast.
I think we said this last week. Ghost Protocol felt like the turning point in the series. And I think it's because McQuarrie gets his hands on it. He's like, okay, this is a series and we need to like invest in the storyline as well as the action scenes and all the other stuff. But we need to invest in the storyline. And back to my original point, I think that's what makes like, I mean, as we get deeper into this series, I just think even going back and like thinking about Mission Impossible 2 now, I'm like, some of my critiques, I'm like, I don't hate them as much because of 5 and 6. I'm like, I kind of like understand what they were going for, if that's like where they were actually going. The problem is I don't know if that's like actually what they had like planned out, you know what I mean? Like they storyboarded like everything from like 2 to 7 or whatever. I don't think that was the case, but if that's the case, then like it kind of feels a little bit better to me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but like his whole scenes with like Julia, they hit it a little bit different now in like 5 and 6 and like even 4, because like, you know, like the sacrifice he has to like make to like keep her alive almost. And we'll get to that with Fallout basically, but yeah, I don't know. It kind of makes me feel a little bit better about the first 3 movies, I guess. I still think they're lower and like they're probably B movies or in that range, but they're nothing like these movies. But I just feel better about them, I guess, is my overall point. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
Well, let's see. Tommy, grade this thing.
All right, I think I'm probably gonna be the highest grade. I really loved this movie. I don't know what it was about it, but it was the first Mission Impossible movie where I was like sitting on the edge of my seat, actually enjoying all the stuff they did.
You like it more than Ghost Protocol?
I think I liked it more than Ghost Protocol.
All right.
I think this was the first time that I was like, when I saw like the face-off scenes and the sprinting scenes, I was like, all right, that was actually pretty badass. I did not see that coming.
He was like, "Oh, they actually used the mask well this time."
Yes, I was like, all right, like it wasn't. I was never sitting in a scene going, "Oh, that's probably going to happen next," and I was actually pleasantly surprised by it. So I gave it a plus 5%. I was high.
A+.
Yeah, I really like this.
This is from the guy that gave Inception like a B-. So that's kind of impressive.
I be giving an A+.
I was fully like immersed in this movie watching it.
Interesting. Do you want me to go next, Mitchell?
Yeah, you go next.
Okay, I think we're gonna go down the ladder. I'm gonna give this an A- 5.3. I like it. Really cool movie. I mean, honestly, the stunt scenes push this movie to a level where it's like, okay, like we're in this.
But, honestly, the underwater scene was what got me in this movie.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, holy shit! Like, is he gonna die?
I like the team. I like the story. I probably like the villain a little bit more than most people. So yeah, I'm gonna give this an A-. I think it's one of the better Mission Impossible movies. I don't think it's better than Ghost Protocol though.
Well, Lottie fucking da, because I get to be the middleman on this.
Oh no!
I give it an A- 9.98.
That's not a middleman. That's like the same grade.
I'm higher than you.
3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yes, because you have to get over 10% on the A- scale to get that 4th star, and this
that's not me. I just give 4 stars for that.
Just a little bit shy.
I just give 4 stars if you're an A-.
So
for me,
no sense.
So Tommy, for
that's
me,
fair.
What I do is if you get an A-, I give you 4 stars, and I give that shit a like. And that's how you know.
Likes.
That's how you know it's like, okay, I would recommend
5 stars
this movie,
and there's 5 letter grades. The stars should correlate.
They do correlate.
No,
they do correlate.
How does a 3.5 star correlate to an A-?
I don't know how that correlates. But I'm telling you my process.
Your grading scale is skewed. Mitchell.
I would give this a like, and to me, if I'm giving it a like, that means I'm gonna recommend it to like everybody I see. I'm like, have you seen Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation yet? You should see this movie. Like that's my A-.
to me.
I will say the only below A- that has gotten a like on Letterboxd from me is the Super Mario Brothers movie. I gave it a B+, but I gave it a like because I was like, I'm gonna tell people to go watch Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm gonna tell people after the 5th time I saw it in theaters that people need to watch this movie. It was a great movie to see in theaters. Yeah.
Speaking
Mission Impossible.
Great movies to see in theaters.
Great.
It is time to talk about Mission Impossible Fallout. This is the first time that we have a director returning to direct another Mission Impossible movie, because it had always been different directors until Fallout. Christopher McQuarrie comes back. This one stars Tom Cruise, adding Henry Cavill, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris, Alec Baldwin, and Michelle Monaghan back in this thing, and also adding Angela Bassett as well as Vanessa Kirby. This thing had a budget of $180 million, made $791. This was a big hit, and this was the 8th highest grossing movie of 2018. So, what was the highest grossing movie of July 2018, guys?
Oh man, this is when we were going to see movies, so I should be locked in. Oh man. Let me see. July. It wouldn't be Maze Runner. It might be Maze Runner.
No,
not Maze Runner.
Think Maze Runner made more than this movie?
No, I didn't think it made more.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. YA teen novel. I mean,
was it Incredibles 2?
No, that came out in June, but good guess.
Yeah, Incredibles 2 is a good guess.
Mamma Mia.
That did come out in July, but it did not make as much.
God damn it.
That was not the highest grossing movie of July 2018.
Oh, please don't tell me it was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No. Close, but no. Remember, the question was what was the highest grossing movie of July 2018?
Thank you.
That means Marvel, which means Black Panther was February.
Yep.
So that means it was Jurassic World.
1, that's not a Marvel movie, and 2, no, that came out in June.
Yeah.
Marvel's Jurassic World.
That statement.
I mean, I was just going through the things in my head.
All right, guys. You each get
Deadpool 2.
No, you each get one more guess. What was the highest grossing movie of July 2018? That was the question.
Skyscraper.
No.
No.
I give up.
It's either. Is it a comic book movie? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
I'm too good at this. You're gonna want to beat my ass when I say this.
It's Avengers. Then it's Infinity.
No, you're gonna want to beat my ass when I say this. The question was, what was the highest grossing movie of July 2018? It was Mission Impossible Fallout.
Fuck you,
you bitch.
Yeah. I got you.
God.
That's what happens when you don't listen to the fucking question.
The worst would have been like if I said Ready Player One, you would have been like, "Oh, you make more money than it." Jurassic World didn't make enough money.
Way to go, Mitchell. Make fun of stupid people. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
No one cares about riddles, dude. You're not the Riddler. Like, sit down, Paul Dano.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Ant-Man and the Wasp almost made more than it, but this movie just really lagged out because the word of mouth on this was in so
theaters
good.
A while, right?
It was in theaters for quite some time.
In IMAX too. It had like multiple weeks of IMAX, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I saw this. I saw this in IMAX for the first time, and
I think we got a big increase in numbers because everybody saw the trailer with Henry Cavill doing his infamous little arm pump before he goes to punch people scene. Everybody's like,
let's go ahead and start with that because we have to talk about Mustache Gate. Because I remember sitting down in November of 2017 watching Justice League in the theater with Brandon, and the first shot we get is this horrible, hideous CGI Henry Cavill because they needed to do reshoots for this movie, and Henry Cavill had his mustache for Mission Impossible Fallout, and Paramount was like, no, he's not shaving the stash. He's filming Mission Impossible.
Oh, come on.
So if you need him,
makeup shit that out.
You got, but they tried to, CGI them, and it looked horrible. And to that I say, good, because prioritize
the
this
mustache
because
works.
this movie is awesome. This movie is incredible, and just right off the bat, I think that this has a legitimate case to be one of the best action movies of all time. I consider it to be one of the best action movies of all time. I think that a lot of people put Mad Max Fury Road on that pedestal, and that movie's awesome. I do love that movie, but I have this considerably higher than I do that movie, and let's just go ahead and talk about why, because damn, this is and where do you even start with a movie like this? Because there's so many different places.
You start at the stunt.
Which one?
You either start at the stunt out of the plane or you start at the beginning. So where do you want to start?
I don't want to start with either of those things.
What do you mean? The beginning is.
I'm going to start in a different spot. And I'm going to give flowers to someone that does not get them very frequently.
If you say Luther Stickle.
Henry Cavill's really good in this.
Oh my God. Everyone thinks Henry Cavill's good. You're the only one.
No one thinks Henry Cavill is good and stuff.
It's because you don't give him praise enough.
No. No. I hear more people than not say that Henry Cavill can't act worth a damn. And in 95% of things, I would agree.
Those people are wrong.
Henry Cavill was an awful Superman. But in this, he's that's
who can pull off Superman.
He's been.
Who can pull off Superman? Not many people.
The new guy will do a great job.
No, he will.
We'll see.
But, I'm just saying, not many people can pull off Superman. It's a hard Okay, I'm just saying.
Henry Cavill is the best, and I know it's a twist villain or whatever. He's the best villain of the series.
Okay, he's the best villain. The twist was obvious as fuck.
But I liked the fact that he
I
wasn't
didn't mind
a good guy at any point. They were kind of rivals back and forth, different agency type thing the whole way through.
Right.
So it didn't feel like some big major twist necessarily. It felt more like it felt a little bit more natural.
On. Keep that mustache on, Walker, because you're a rat. We can smell a rat when we see one. What? You're a rat. Keep that mustache on, you dirty person. I mean, my God. I mean, the biggest rat in the face of action movies I've ever seen. Oh, my favorite was he goes to her and is like, isn't it obvious that he's John Lark? And I'm like, oh my God, he's John Lark? I was like, this is incredible. I was like, I can't wait to see what they do in this writing. And I guess that was the point, is it's obvious, but I don't care. I'm into it. Like, he's the best.
I didn't even necessarily think it was that obvious. It wasn't obvious. Surprising. But it was one of those things where if you're coming at it from the perspective where you're not take it from his perspective. He's like, I don't fucking take this shit seriously at all. You're just a bunch of goofballs that run around wearing masks. I do not need to take you seriously at any bit, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. And he just tries to like little brother Tom Cruise a lot until he kind of realizes that he can't and needs to take him extremely seriously.
Yeah.
Like that scene on the plane where he's like, he takes off his oxygen, and then he's like, what, are you afraid of a little bit of lightning? And then of course he gets struck by lightning in that. Yeah. Tommy, Brandon, did you see this movie in theaters?
Yeah.
Did you see it in IMAX by chance?
I didn't see it with you, I think, but I saw it like twice in IMAX. I'm pretty sure, because Dolby didn't exist yet. I believe Dolby did not exist yet.
I think it existed. They just didn't have as many theaters as they do now.
Yeah.
But that
I definitely saw it in IMAX twice.
So hard.
Yeah.
I can imagine seeing that in theaters would have been insane.
Oh, I was in Pennsylvania at this point, so I actually saw it in IMAX twice in Pennsylvania. I was like, I went to see it with one of my coworkers, and then I went to see it by myself. I Ubered to the theater by myself. I was like, Mission Impossible again. I was like, let's go. I was like, yeah, I need this. I saw it in theaters. It was sick then. I mean, let's. We already talked about the plane. Let's talk about the stunt. I mean, did he actually get hit by lightning? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think Henry Cavill did that.
But I will say,
no, it was actually Tom Cruise acting as Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I will say the best line of the movie might be, you forgot your oxygen?
Yeah, it's Tom Cruise's look on his face after that is just priceless.
You saved this man's life.
That was the scene where I knew Henry Cavill was going to be some sort of villain. I was like, he is just the worst. He's a douche.
He's right off the bat, absolute terrible person.
Giving him shit for being afraid of lightning, and then basically getting saved, and then waking up, giving him shit about the oxygen. I was like, yeah, he's gonna do some sort of weird twist later on. I wasn't expecting him to be as big of a villain as he was.
Can we talk about the bathroom scene, the fight scene in the bathroom?
That's the scene that everyone kind of talks about with this movie, and it's not even close to my favorite action scene in the movie.
You're like, God, he's John Lark. Like, I don't know. It just gave me the creeps. I was like, why did he hit him with the laptop? I'm like, that's a dumb move right there.
Because that's what he had.
Well, because he's a hammer, not a scalpel.
That's right.
All he knows is hit, smash.
Also, great line.
That's not Superman.
Also, the worst choice for CIA director Erica. She is a awful
She's
choice
a doofus.
Yeah, I hate her. I hope the government actually isn't run by people like that. Because, well, let's
I
keep
have
that
bad news for you, Brandon. It might be much worse.
There's my comments on that one.
My gosh, unbelievable,
Brandon, you poor innocent soul.
Okay. But this is why
the bathroom.
This is why I wanted to. Okay, so the bathroom scene. Yeah, I mean that action is just incredible.
I love how two of the most iconic scenes are the Henry Cavill, like almost like the reloading his arms, and then when Henry Cavill picks up the Asian
Lark
dude
decoy, the Yang,
and just throws him through the damn mirror, and despite that,
incredible
both of them get their
acting.
Absolute dicks kicked in by this guy. No one remembers that these guys were both dead to rights, despite the fact that the most memorable moments belong to Henry Cavill in that scene. This dude was kicking the shit out of them.
So, that was another reason why I was like, is he John Lark? Because like I was like, it's very suspicious that this dude is just like kicking the shit out of like Walker and Ethan Hunt at the same time. And then part of me was like, or maybe this man is just like an incredible like fighter. It's like a black belt or whatever, like whatever the next step above black belt is. Like he's been taught by like masters that like, yeah, I mean, just the action scene in that.
Is Jedi?
Just, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he was doing shit where I'm like, would a Jedi do that?
He got thrown through that window and mirror
got up
and took it like it was nothing. Like, oh shit, I gotta get back up. Let's go.
They
round 2.
Him. I think they at one point someone is slammed through a scene.
Fight, though. Just the start of the fight when they're in the bathroom and he all of a sudden like wakes up from he just goes from 0 to 100, starts ripping them apart.
Kicks him through, hits him into the sink. Yeah. The sink explodes. I'm like, he kicked him that hard.
Is that bathroom made of Play-Doh? Everything was breaking very easily.
Come on, Mitchell. Mitchell, if you ever fought in a bathroom, you would know. Like, no, I'm just.
I've never fought in a bathroom.
Also,
before.
What was it? The amount of blood, and they just thought it was like, oh yeah, just hold your nose up, it's fine. It's like that's not from a nosebleed. There's like a puddle of blood on the ground. Oh man, it's just such a good scene. It's such a good scene, and I wanted to start at the beginning, Mitchell, because I wanted to talk about how they duped the Doctor into giving them the passcode. Wolf Blitzer pulls off Wolf Blitzer, but it turns out to be a great use of the mask, Tommy. A great use of the mask.
They finally were effective with them. They didn't overuse it. They didn't underuse it. They timed it perfectly.
My favorite part. This was, you've only been here for an hour. The nuclear attacks haven't happened yet. And then he goes, it's not over until we say it's over, and then it just cuts to the title scene. Da-da-da. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for this movie. That was when I was in. I was locked in at that point. I was like, oh, they're about to do some like shit. I was like, they just got Wolf Blitzer in this movie. They're about to do some shit. I can't wait for this, and it got better and better.
Like the whole face mask scene with Simon Pegg pretending to be Solomon, and he's just like, I just love that like dialogue between him and Ethan Hunt all the time. She's like, I did good, right? He's like, I never doubted you for a second.
I never doubted you.
That's a little brother character in this movie.
He is. But the classic line that I mentioned earlier, I won't let anything bad happen to you. It's like you can't possibly like predict all the random shit that happens while they're doing these missions.
And they finally called that out in this movie too. I forget who says it, but they're like, have you even thought of this part? And Ethan's like, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Like they finally call him out. Like,
and then is it Isla was like, or Isla was like, she was like, oh, you must be new here.
Ilsa, not Isla.
Ilsa, sorry, yeah, you're right.
She's not the villain from Emperor's New Groove.
To be fair, they don't say her name quite often in like any of these movies.
They say it all the time.
They kind of just like
Ilsa.
She's there.
Quite frequently, they call her by her name.
Can we talk about
Ilsa? That was Ilsa.
Actually, the one of the better Solomon Lane quotes. Ilsa, interesting. I kind of like that. I was like, oh man, that was funny. But can we talk about the White Widow?
I was just going to say, let's talk about Vanessa Kirby.
She kind of smashes, right?
Yeah. I mean, this was kind of her coming out party. Everyone after this was like, all right, let's cast Vanessa Kirby in a bunch of stuff. Let's get her in Fantastic Four. Let's get her in Napoleon. Right. And because she is great in this.
She can do anything. Basically, is what people were thinking.
And she's in the movie for a very short amount of time, but makes a very
efficiency.
A very strong impression. Yeah, they're very efficient with her time. Maybe I'm reading this incorrectly, and you can call me whatever you want. Was it just me, or did it seem like she just wanted to fuck Ethan Hunt the whole time? Was I reading that correctly?
Yes and no. But if you think about it from the backstory of everything that happens after the fact, you then realize, well, she already knew that she was playing like a triple agent, so she didn't really care about anything but probably like getting in his pants, because she was like, well, if at this point, like I'm gonna screw over like about like 4 different people, so I might as well like, get it a little bit. Yeah, it's a very interesting scene. It's a very odd scene, and it's awkward.
Two people pretending to be people that they aren't.
Well, yes. Oh, I was gonna go to when he was like, "Can I meet the courier?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can if this and this and this happens," and then she just kisses him. And I was like, wow, I felt that tension the whole time too. No, I didn't. I did not feel that tension the whole time. You just randomly did this. I was like, it was very, very weird.
It didn't come out of nowhere to me.
It didn't come out of nowhere, but it was like, okay, that's a little awkward, like part to like do that, I guess. You know what I mean?
He seemed to be kind of turning the charm on a little bit extra with her as well.
The Riz was up.
She knew that she had to play Ethan Hunt any way she could, and if that was a card that she could play just to keep him enticed,
I think that was the card. That was the card.
Maybe fall for her shit, then that's what she had to do.
And I think that's her card a lot, right? I mean, that's why she's the White Widow. Like, she plays that card often. I do like how she can handle herself, though. Her brother's a complete dumbass, and I think they make that very clear in this movie. But what a tactical disaster that man is. We're gonna do this and this, and we're gonna mow down all the French police in the entire, and that's how we're gonna like get this guy out. And I'm like, you're gonna roll up on a armed like brigade and just like unleash bullets, and you think like a firefight is gonna go well. I'm like, what is this? Fucking Den of Thieves? I'm like, this is this is our plan? Like, we're just gonna like fire bullets as many as we can? I don't know. I wasn't in on it, which I mean makes sense. He was an idiot, and then Ethan Hunt tried to play all of them, and then how do we feel about the cop almost getting shot, and then Ethan just guns down the four people? I that was when the movie got real, because it was like, oh, like he couldn't let his morality like do that.
It was just another callback to what everybody says about Ethan Hunt, especially Alec Baldwin's character.
That quote:
"You can't let your morality. You'd rather save one person than a million lives." And that was just another case of he's never met this person, but he knew that this person was innocent and had nothing to do with what was going on.
She just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what she should have done? She should have turned the other way like the cop in the town.
Yep.
Should have turned the other way.
Yep.
I love kind of the overarching themes with Ethan in this movie, and I'm not going to choose one life over a million or whatever the case may be. I'm going to try to save everyone. And I'm going to find a way to make this happen. I don't care what the fuck I have to do. I'm going to find a way to make this happen. The never say die attitude is the never say die attitude, and the I'm not going to put the mission above my friends. I'm going to find a way to get both things done is a very key part of Ethan's being.
At the very beginning of the movie, he didn't pick up the plutonium. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I think that
it was there. Just pick it up. Like,
it adds another layer of depth behind the titles of the movies, because obviously it's Mission Impossible, but they're very easy missions for him if he were to just simply sacrifice his teammates.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
The part that makes it impossible is doing it without losing
the movie. Doesn't happen if he picks up the plutonium.
And this is why the movies where you're invested in the team are better than the ones where it's just a Tom Cruise show, because the team is excellent in this movie. I mean, you care.
We get
Simon Pegg is back to being like an effective member of the team. Ving Rhames gets a little bit more to do. Rebecca Ferguson is there throughout the whole thing, and you get a little back and forth about him and Rebecca Ferguson both going after Lane but for different reasons. And I really like that. Solomon Lane, much better in this movie. I think a lot of it just has to do with the elite facial hair in this movie. Solomon Lane with the facial hair, I think it improves his character.
I don't usually like when movies like put like a quote about the title of the movie in a quote, but Solomon Lane's quote about like the fallout of all his choices that he has made, I was like, oh wow, like that villain quote is like up there. I was like, oh, that's that quote went hard. I was like, that's hard
to get under Ethan's skin.
Yeah.
Him and Henry Cavill both do that, but Henry Cavill also has more physicality.
Right. And I will say that's what makes like what Benji does when he's like, no, I want to be here when Hunt comes back. I'm like, oh, that's something Solomon Lane would say. I'm like, exactly. What a great move. I'm like, oh, yeah, played it so well. Yeah,
we got to talk about the motorcycle scene in Paris.
He wasn't putting his knee on the ground, but his foot was definitely on the ground. And I mean, my God,
F minus.
I was going to say how many tight corners and tight backway alleys they were driving through, and all the was crazy.
I think I just have a thing for action movies in Paris, and the Arc de Triomphe, and Arc de Triomphe being in Paris for action movies, because John Wick 4 was also very prevalently featured in Paris, and they had a big Arc de Triomphe scene where everyone's driving around in this giant circle, and John Wick's having a fight with people coming to kill him. And in this movie, Ethan Hunt is driving against traffic on this motorcycle, and all these cops are coming after him. There's a great shot in this where he's coming down the street, and you just see cop cars just keep coming in behind him.
He stops.
It's a fantastic shot.
It's a great shot, and then they cut, and then it's like, oh, he has nowhere to go, and it's like, actually, he's just gonna go straight to the arch.
Actually, he has a plan for this whole damn thing.
Which goes back to, we don't give him enough credit for having a plan sometimes. This one, he actually had a plan and had like a way out, which I thought was pretty impressive. I didn't think I would bring this up on the podcast, but I will. Every time I see the arch now, because I watch the Tour de France, I watch a lot of pro cycling. They always go around the arch to like end the tour. Basically, they do that a lot. Like, I don't know if it's every single year they do it, but every time I see that arch now, I'm like, damn. I'm like, that John Wick scene, and now I'm like, damn, that Mission Impossible Fallout scene. Like, imagine if like there's just a ton of cars on this and you're just going the other way. Mitchell, I think you have a thing for motorcycle and action scenes. I think you do. I think because a lot of the action scenes that you like have motorcycles in them.
Well, it's a Tom Cruise movie, so he's going to be chopping that wind and running his ass off at some point.
He must be such a great rider. Like, I mean, he really must be. Like, I like the motorcycle scenes in the Bond movies. They don't touch this.
This movie also, I was hoping to talk about this for a little bit, because particularly in the first half of the movie, this movie kind of felt like a Bond film for a little bit. Like, I know it's like, oh, well, it's a spy movie. What'd you think, dumbass? I'm saying, like, specifically a James Bond movie, because a James Bond movie versus a Jason Bourne movie versus a Mission Impossible movie, they do feel different. This definitely felt the most
Jason
like
Bourne
a Bond
would never
movie.
Be in this situation.
No. But it felt the most like a Bond movie for the first half of the movie, especially, the White Widow stuff felt straight out of a Bond film.
God, that did feel like a Bond movie, yeah.
And if this was a Bond movie, it'd be my favorite one.
The fight in the bathroom? Bond movie.
The fight in the bathroom, the having to get to a club and get information from this woman, and from the mysterious woman, and assume an identity, and all that stuff. It was just straight up Bond. Peg could basically pass for his Q. Yeah, it did feel very Bond-ish. But it
also probably helped that MI6 was heavily involved in this movie.
That's true as well.
That's a great point. I was thinking they were going to play off of that with MI6 Mission Impossible 6. I thought they were going to play off of that.
What a crazy crossover that would be for the next movie.
God, they need that.
I'd be all right. Don't do that.
Look, I'm not here for the Bond Mission Impossible crossover.
Good, because it's not happening.
But we know they're in the same universe.
No, they're not.
We know they are. They definitely are.
We got to talk about the second half of this thing, because we find out that Henry Cavill is in fact working with the Apostles. And
at like the hour and a half mark, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. That was probably what really sold me on this movie, like in terms of the story. Because I knew there was going to be some twist eventually, but then they went from him being a bad guy to them getting captured by supposedly the CIA. Then all of a sudden, the Apostle is just completely flipping the whole scene around and taking control.
Yeah.
There's so many back and forths in that one scene that I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
I think if there is a weakest part of the movie, that might be it for me.
I think it's the gunfight scene in the series.
Yeah, it's like all the action scenes are at like a 50 out of 10, and that one just felt like a solid 7.5.
But maybe it was also supposed to feel that way, because what a dumbass decision by Erica to just send in the CIA anyway. Your top operative is a fucking rat. Why the fuck? He's a terrorist. Why would you think that like half of your team isn't compromised? Like, I wouldn't trust anyone in that situation. But she's like, I'm just going to bring all of you in now. And it's like, And my favorite part, and this might be my favorite Walker line. Oh, you sure about that? And then I'm just like, okay, like of course he's going to get out of the situation. We still got another hour left in the movie. It's just like, this is insane. Like, oh man, I don't know. Yeah, I will say that's probably the weakest point of the entire movie, Mitchell. I will agree with that. Probably that's a good point. Yeah, 7 out of 10. It's a good scene, but just very weak.
Well, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about.
I was going to say Alec Baldwin not dying.
Alec Baldwin's awful on-scene death.
Alec Baldwin's fantastic line of, you want to find out if this one's loaded, which just aged so poorly. Like, ooh, that's not great,
yes,
Alec.
You're right.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that, but I did see that Rust is on Netflix.
I thought about that, and I'm like, oh no, Alec.
I did see that Rust.
That should have been played in his court case.
No, come on, that's tough.
That's not great.
Yeah, it's not great.
But you find out that Ethan's ex-wife Julia is at this working at this medical camp, and that's exactly what Solomon Lane is targeting. He's targeting this water, this glacier that provives a third of the world with water, and he's gonna
basically
wipe it
from
out
India
with this.
From Kashmir on. Yeah.
And I just have to talk about this because the helicopter scene in this movie is one of my favorite things ever done in movies as far as I'm concerned. I love it so much because, again, you go back to the Ethan. This is the prime example of Ethan Hunt. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I know it sounds crazy. I need to get to the detonator, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen. There's two helicopters.
Man would have fly.
Yeah, there's two helicopters. One of them's got Henry Cavill on it. He's got the detonator. There's another one. I'm gonna find a way onto that helicopter by climbing up this rope while the helicopter's in air, falling off of the damn thing, and holding on to that little bag.
I will say I didn't need
climbing
that to
my way
happen,
back up and getting control, killing the two guys that are in the helicopter, taking control of it. By the way, the look on the guy's face when Ethan Hunt finally makes his way up there is like the most priceless fucking thing.
Mitchell, I was screaming at my TV. Not really, but in my head I was screaming because it was like 2 a.m. at night. But I was screaming in my head, "Fucking shoot him! Shoot him!"
I think he was just like, You know what? I think he's earned this. if he's gone through all this, I think I'm just let him have it.
He's like, wait, how did this guy get here? Yeah, maybe I would do the same thing. I'd be in shock that someone like did that.
Out of all the things I could have expected to happen right now, someone else just hopping on board.
Yeah, like he's on the helicopter for the sole purpose of like using his weapon and like protecting the other helicopter, and the man just freezes in the moment. Not clutch at all.
I mean, man, to be fair, if you were flying in a helicopter and a guy just showed up out of nowhere, you might be able to be like, "What the
hell?"
You're right. But then he somehow kills both of them, and then takes control of the helicopter. And you're like, "Well, he's Ethan Hunt, so of course he can fly the thing, because why wouldn't he be able to?" But then he goes full like beast mode and is like chasing the other copter down. And he's like, oh, what can I do to like destroy this other copter? Oh, let me drop this huge payload like on top of and then he misses, and then oh my god, it just gets more and more insane, Mitchell. It like ups the stakes the entire time, and you're like, this mission is actually impossible. There is no way this man is about to get this detonator. And yeah, I mean the engine catches on fire at one point. It's like, how did that happen? It was like, it was just like, but maybe it was because he was running the helicopter as hard as he possibly
was
could.
Pushing it so hard, because he gets on there and he's like, all right, I'm gonna try to figure all this stuff out. I got this payload. Once he's on it, it's just iconic as far as I'm concerned, because the music that they're playing is so
they're flying
tense.
At like 20 feet. Yes. Like they're skimming across the river. I'm like, what is going on?
The music is tense. He's trying to figure out like, how do I dump this payload? And then he sees the payload button. He looks at the helicopter, and the way he just goes, power. It's just one of the greatest things ever. He gets up, drops the payload, misses it. And then Henry Cavill's helicopter flies up next to him, and Henry Cavill almost has
just
this
ripping
look of
a Gatling gun at him.
He basically has this look of like, fuck, I gotta say, I'm actually kind of impressed. And then Tom Cruise is just like, yeah, take that, bitch. And then Henry Cavill reaches in the back as nonchalantly as possible and just whips out this giant gun and starts firing it at the helicopter.
It's like, oh, I didn't know you had a Gatling gun on board.
It's the stuff of action movie legend. Yeah. And while Tom Cruise has all of that going on, Ving Rhames is trying to
Can we talk
defuse this bomb.
The best dialogue
Can we talk about that?
You're on a helicopter? Well, you have to get on the other helicopter.
How did you get on a helicopter? It doesn't matter. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get the detonator.
Oh, man. And then Julia shows up, and she's like, can I help? And he's like, yeah, grab a pair of tweezers.
Yeah. What else is she going to do?
Yeah, the world's about to blow up.
Meanwhile, Simon Pegg and Rebecca Ferguson are trying to find the other bomb and basically take out Solomon Lane while doing so.
If you were going to hide a bomb, though, you'd hide it with all the X-rays and radiation machines, right? Mm. I mean, that was a good place to look. And then, of course, she has to do her thing. She has to chase down Lane, and I don't know. How do we feel about that part of the movie? Because it's very tense, but it's also like, I mean, this is kind of dumb.
With the helicopter scene.
I wasn't necessarily. I mean, I always wanted to go back to the helicopter
That's
stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
But not in a negative way, because it was all like, if we don't get all three of these things done, they all have to be done. Okay. If one of them isn't done, it doesn't matter. It's over. All three. So they all felt like they had importance and weight to them, but like, there were definitely life and death stakes for Ilsa and for Benji. However, Tom Cruise on that helicopter was just stealing the damn show, and he was just coming after Henry Cavill with everything he had to a degree that I've never seen in this series before. It felt like almost personal to him, because a lot of it was because you felt a lot of regret.
Well, he threatened
from
Julia.
Tom.
He said,
you felt so much regret when Tom Cruise, when Ethan's talking to Julia, that short conversation that they had, you felt years of history between those two characters, and so much just like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to put you in this situation. And as a result of that conversation, the eventual victory feels so much sweeter because everyone gets, the bombs defused. They cut it 1 second. Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill have this fight that you can tell on location because they do so many wide angle shots and it all just looks stupendous.
They took full advantage of that.
Yeah, it looks great.
This is how you shoot a film.
Yeah. Henry Cavill dies. It's a great fight, but Tom Cruise.
Know that? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty willing to take my chances.
I will say, out of all the movies, I know the series is called Mission Impossible. This mission actually felt
this was impossible? The single most impossible mission by far.
Because Mitchell, as you lay out all
was
three
like
of
mission,
those things.
The third one was like mission tough. The fourth one was mission pretty damn difficult. The fifth one was like, all right, mission not as tough as before, but it still who there. Knows? This one was truly Mission Impossible.
But Mitchell, you laid it out. They had to do all three of those things simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds? Like, I don't even want to know what the odds were actually, because it's a miracle. As Luther points out, they had to basically have 3 consecutive miracles happen. I guess, yeah, 3 simultaneous miracles basically is what they had to do. Like,
I'd have to say that the chances of them pulling that off are probably around the same odds of a team blowing a 20-point lead in one game and then immediately blowing a 20-point lead in the next game. But
absolutely,
when might that happen? That seems like Mission Impossible to me too.
I will say, so based off the context of the story, he pulled that key with his teeth at 1 second.
he
like based off of what we were saying. Yeah, based off of what we were saying. Like at 1 second he pulled it. So he really had no communication with them. And he pulled the key just at like the right time. Like it's just absolutely insane. Makes no sense, but it works. Yeah, I don't know. I just Mitchell. I think I have to agree with you. It's one of the best action movies of all time.
But I love the way that it wraps up at the end because you feel so much of that. Like, I'm sorry I put you in this situation, but you hear basically what Ethan had wanted to hear the whole time is, I love my life right now. I love what I get to do, and I sleep soundly at night knowing that you are out doing all of this so that people can be safe and that I can live my life. And I know that Mission Impossible 3 wasn't necessarily any of our favorite Mission Impossible movies, but I think that the chemistry between Tom Cruise and Michelle Monaghan was definitely one of the better parts of it. And I definitely think it
makes the payoff.
Yeah. Even though she's not in the movie much in this one, you definitely feel that's kind of been an overarching thing. Even in the fourth one, in Ghost Protocol, they touched on that quite a bit. And it's brought more to the forefront in Mission Impossible Fallout, and it really ends in a place that I truly like. It didn't make me emotional, but it got close to it because I was just so invested in everything, and it had been such an up and down ride. It's truly a movie that you're at the end and you think about everything that happened to get to where you are now, watching credits, and it's like, wow, that was a very I feel full leaving this movie.
Imagine if you started watching
I could possibly wanted.
Imagine if you started watching them when they first got released, like the decades of build up to that moment. I mean, I think that's what makes this series really, really freaking good. Whether all the movies are insanely good, I think this is like the culmination of, I would say, 2 trilogies basically of like build up where it's like, yeah, and this is what this like that's what this was for basically, and I think it turns it. I think that's what makes it the best Mission Impossible movie, in my opinion. So far, we'll see, but so far the best Mission Impossible movie we've seen.
All right, Tommy, you want to give us a grade?
Yeah,
He does.
Again,
He's
like all
ready.
you guys have been saying, this is definitely the pinnacle of the Mission Impossible franchise so far. I gave it a plus 75%.
Oh
Oh,
yes,
so that's a Hall of Fame member for
it's
you.
in the
It's a Hall of
Hall of
Fame. This
Fame.
was phenomenal.
All right, Brandon.
A plus 77.8.
Oof.
In the Hall of Fame.
Damn, so I gotta be the villain on this one.
It's not in the Hall of Fame for you?
No. But I have this movie below Top Gun Maverick, and Maverick's not in the Hall of Fame for me.
That's just a sin, I guess. Well,
do you think this is better than Maverick?
No. I don't have it above Maverick. But
Tommy, what about you?
It's hard to say. I feel like they're on equal playing grounds for the genres that they're in.
Maverick felt a little more emotional.
They're more epic on their own parts because Mission Impossible obviously is a spy movie. Maverick is, I don't even know what kind of, like how to describe Maverick. An action drama type movie.
War action movie. I guess.
I don't even know if
There was more emotional drama in Maverick, and a more emotional storytelling. Where Mission Impossible,
agreed,
it does have emotional storytelling with the whole Julia storyline, but you're more invested in the action and the who's who's the bad guy kind of deal. So I'd say they're on equal playing ground.
I'm gonna give this an A plus 42.92%.
Wow.
I love this movie so much, and it's when I do my 2018 rankings years from now, this is guaranteed to be in the top 5, probably will be in the top 3. I cannot, and it was my number 4 movie at the time, and I think it'll be higher than that because it just continues to get better with time. This is by far the best Mission Impossible movie, and it was my favorite Tom Cruise movie before Top Gun Maverick came out in 2022. So we have one more Mission Impossible movie left, that being Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which they kind of scrapped the whole Part 1 thing for the final reckoning, which is probably the right choice. And I was hoping to get some clarity on this, because I don't really like just reviewing one movie. So
we could do a preview of the new movie, or like what we want to happen, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't. I think that a lot of that will kind of get put into the Dead Reckoning review anyway.
Fair enough.
So if we could review a second Tom Cruise movie, I kind of went through a list of highly regarded Tom Cruise movies and what was readily available on streaming, and I came to the conclusion that the 2004 Michael Mann film Collateral would be a good one, because Tom Cruise.
I don't even think I've heard of that one, actually.
You will like it, I guarantee it.
I've heard of it.
It's Tom Cruise, it's Jamie Foxx, and Tom Cruise plays the villain. So you don't get to see that too much. So we're going to do Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Collateral, which I think is on Paramount Plus. Because I went through a bunch of like the highly rated Tom Cruise movies, and like none of them were on streaming anywhere except for Collateral. Because I really wanted to do Edge of Tomorrow, but that's on nothing. So Collateral with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, I think we'll be ready to go for the final reckoning. And then after the Mission Impossible ones are done, I've got a fun one that I know that you guys will really enjoy lined up after that. That has to do with some upcoming releases that I'm maybe not quite as excited about, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll just tell you, Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. So,
oh God, Brandon's saying it's time to end this.
Yeah, I think that's our cue. We're getting the light. So for Brandon 2, Tommy Grant, I'm Mitchell Lee. Thanks for listening, and go watch these movies, form your own opinions on them, and we'll see you next week.